Okay, let's just say it. The South African property market is officially back. After a few years kind of stuck in the doldrums, the signs of a major rebound are, well, they're everywhere. In this explainer, we're not only going to show you the data behind this recovery, but we're also going to give you a step-by-step guide to making a smart, confident offer in 2026. Ready? Let's get into it. So, what's behind all this new energy? Well, it all kicks off with this number. In 2025, the South African Rand had an absolutely spectacular year, strengthening by a massive 13.8% against the US dollar. Now, this is a huge deal because a stronger Rand acts like a brake on inflation, which, you guessed it, leads us right to our next key figure. And there it is. With inflation finally easing up, the prime lending rate has dropped to 10.25%. I mean, after years of painfully high borrowing costs, this is the news that so many aspiring homeowners have been desperately waiting for. It's making home loans way more affordable, and it's basically opening the door for a whole new wave of buyers. So you've got a stronger currency, you've got lower interest rates. These two things are creating this incredibly powerful tailwind for the property market. In fact, a lot of experts are calling it a perfect storm for a rebound. Let's dig into what that actually means for you as a buyer. See, it's this powerful combination that's creating a genuine window of opportunity. It's not just one thing, but this perfect blend of positive economic signals. And that renewed confidence, that's the spark, you know? It's the thing that ignites real action in the property market. And the data absolutely proves it. This isn't just some forecast anymore. In the last quarter of 2025, home loan applications shot up by a pretty significant 8.9% compared to the year before. That tells us people are moving past just browsing online. They're actively going out and getting financing. Now, let's talk about the regional picture for a second, because this recovery isn't happening at the same speed everywhere. The Western Cape is really in a league of its own, with an average house price of 2.1 million rand. That's nearly 40% higher than the national average. This huge premium is being fueled by what people are calling semigration. Basically, folks moving from other provinces looking for a better lifestyle and, frankly, more reliable service delivery. And if the Western Cape is the country's star player, then Cape Town is the supercharged engine at its heart. This is especially true when you start looking at the luxury end of the market. Just look at this number, 11.3 billion rand. That is the total value of property sales in just two areas of Cape Town, the Atlantic Seaboard and the City Bowl, in the last financial year. That is an absolutely staggering figure that shows you exactly where the smart money is flowing. And get this, that 11.3 billion rand figure, that represents a massive 26% surge in sales value year on year. This isn't just steady growth, folks. This is a market that is on fire. But here is where the story gets even crazier. Sales of properties valued over 20 million rand skyrocketed by an incredible 61%. This shows us that the ultra-luxury market is unbelievably strong, driven by high-net-worth individuals who see Cape Town property as a safe and profitable place to park their capital. So who exactly are these buyers? Well, while local purchasers still make up the majority, check out this slice right here. A full quarter of the sales value in the luxury market comes from international buyers, mainly from places like Germany, the UK, and Northern Europe. They're drawn by the incredible lifestyle, the fact that their money just goes further here, and of course, the world-class properties that are on offer. Okay, so the market is hot. We get it. But that does not mean you should overpay. So let's switch gears a bit from the big picture to the practical steps you need to take. Because making a smart offer starts long before you even think about signing any papers. It all begins with your homework. This is the big one, right? The question every single buyer asks. You've found a place you absolutely love. Your heart is racing, but you've got to keep your head in the game. How do you make sure your offer is both competitive and, actually fair? The answers to these questions, that's your negotiating power. First, is the asking price realistic compared to what similar homes in that area have actually sold for recently? Second, how much competition is out there? Is the market flooded, giving you more leverage? Third, and this is a big one, why is the owner selling? If they need to move fast, they might be a lot more flexible. And finally, how strong are you as a buyer? If you're pre-qualified for a bond and you don't have another house to sell, trust me, your offer is going to look a lot more appealing. Now this might be the single most important piece of advice in any property negotiation. It is so easy to get swept up in the emotion of it all, but you absolutely must have a hard limit, a walkaway number. If the math doesn't work, you need to have the discipline to walk away, period. All right, let's talk about the offer to purchase, or what everyone calls the OTP. I know, this document can seem really intimidating, especially if you're a first-time buyer. But I want you to see it differently. The OTP isn't some scary hurdle, it's your secret weapon. It's the tool you use to put all your terms and all your conditions down in writing. Okay, let's be crystal clear about this. The OTP is not a casual agreement. In South Africa, once it is signed by both you and the seller, it becomes a legally binding contract. That means you can't just change your mind later without facing some pretty serious legal and financial consequences. So, to make it a bit easier, here is a simple checklist to help you navigate the OTP. First up, make sure the property description matches the official title deed exactly. Next, double-check that all the names and ID numbers are correct. Confirm the purchase price, both in words and in numbers. Then agree on the occupation date and any occupational rent. Now, this one's crucial. Add your special conditions, like making the wholesale subject to you getting bond approval. And finally, list every single movable item, like curtains or appliances, that's included in the sale to avoid any nasty surprises later on. We're almost at the finish line. But before you even think about signing that dotted line, there is one more critical piece of legal fine print that every single buyer in South Africa needs to understand. You're going to find this term in pretty much every OTP. Voetstoots. It's a legal term that basically means you're buying the property as is, warts and all. This clause protects the seller from you coming back later complaining about a leaky pipe or a cracked tile. So, for example, if the geyser bursts a month after you move in, well, that's usually going to be your problem. You'd only have a legal case if you could prove the seller knew it was faulty and deliberately hid that fact from you, which, let me tell you, is incredibly difficult to do. So how do you protect yourself? This right here is the key takeaway. Do not rely on the Consumer Protection Act because in most private property sales, it just doesn't apply. Your best, and really your only defense against that Voetst clause is to hire a professional home inspector before you sign the offer. Seriously, the cost of an inspection is a tiny price to pay for peace of mind, and it could literally save you from a financial nightmare down the road. So there you have it. The market is bouncing back, buyer confidence is high, and with the right preparation, the power to get yourself a great deal is firmly in your hands. You understand the economic landscape, and now you have the tools to navigate the legal side of things. The only question left is, are you ready to make your move?